The Imperial Fleet is the name given to the entirety of all faster-than-light capable void ships controlled directly or regulated by the Adeptus Terra, and includes almost every void ship active in the Imperium of Man. The Imperial Fleet is divided into three distinct branches: the segmentum and sector battle fleets of the Navis Imperialis, the merchant fleets, and the civil fleets. The navigators of the Navis Nobilite are also officially considered to fall under the administration of the Imperial Fleet, though their de facto political power and great wealth provides them with influence among many other Imperial Adepta. The few vessels that are not formally a part of the Imperial Fleet instead belong to either the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Adeptus Astartes, the commercial dynasties of the rogue traders, the Inquisition and its various chamber militants, or a small number of honored and ancient merchant families. Within the labyrinthine bureaucracy of the Imperium, the Imperial Fleet's various components are considered to be under the formal command of the Adeptus Administratum, particularly those vessels that do not belong to the Imperial Navy. The Imperial Fleet's three divisions, civil and military alike, are each administratively divided between the 5 segmenti majores that comprise Imperial space, and the command headquarters for each is based within that segmentum's segmentum fortress. Each segmentum has its own merchant, civil, and Imperial Navy battle fleets. For example, the Battle Fleet Solar is the total of all Imperial Navy warships assigned to the segmentum Solar, while the Merchant Pacificus is the total of all void ships in the merchant fleet of the segmentum Pacificus, etc. The Imperial Navy rarely, if ever, gathers the entire battle fleet of a segmentum. Rather, the naval vessels within a segmentum are further divided into battle fleets which operate at the sector level in almost all instances. The Navis Imperialis, better known as the Imperial Navy in Low Gothic, is one of the primary armed forces of the Imperium of Man, while the Astra Militarum, Imperial Guard, represents the Imperium's ground forces. The Imperial Navy is responsible for the fleets of starships that maintain order between the stars and planets in the Imperium, for all space and air support provided to the infantry of the Astra Militarum through its Aeronautica Imperialis branch, and for transporting those guardsmen across the galaxy to the Imperium's myriad war zones. The battle fleets of the Imperial Navy are constantly engaging threats both inside and outside the Imperium's borders. In ancient times, during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy eras, the Imperial Navy was not an independent armed force of its own, but was considered a part of the greater Imperial Army and was known as the Armada Imperialis. Its vessels were dedicated to the defense of Imperial space and strategic warp routes. This was opposed to the fleets of warships assigned to the service of the Legiones Astartes, who were used for the planetary assaults that occupied the bulk of the Great Crusade. After the horrors of the Horus Heresy, during the Imperial Reformation overseen at the start of the Time of Rebirth by the primarch Robert Guilliman, the Imperial Army's fleet component was re-established as a separate and rival service. This was done to weaken the Imperial armed forces in case of the outbreak of a future rebellion against the Emperor's rule. The Imperial Navy is today largely divided into the 5 major battle fleets, which serve each of the segmenti majores from their segmentum fortresses, though the largest actual formation that ever sees service are the individual sector battle fleets. The merchant fleets of the Imperium of Man are the commercial component of what is collectively known as the Imperial Fleet. The commercial void craft of the Imperium, most of which are commanded by the Chartist captains who possess a merchant charter, make up approximately 90% of all the void craft with interstellar capabilities in human-controlled space. Each of the merchant fleets, much like the Imperial Navy's battle fleets, are based in one of the 5 segmenti majores that comprise the primary administrative units of the Imperium. The segmentum's fleet commanders and their administrative staffs are based at the respective segmentum fortresses. For example, the segmentum Solar Fleet is based on Mars, whilst the fleet of the Northern Zone, the segmentum Obscurus, is based on Cypra Mundi. While these fleet bases are massive orbiting void stations that usually maintain gigantic complexes of orbiting docks, shipyards, and starship repair facilities, their primary function is to maintain bureaucratic control over both the military and civilian starships operating within their segmentum of control. In reality, of course, only a vanishing fraction of the starships assigned to a given segmentum's merchant fleet ever actually travels to its segmentum fortress. The overall headquarters of the merchant fleets was located at the Nexus Axiomatic Fortress on Terra. Within the Nexus Axiomatic could be found the 9 mythical magisters Calculo Horarium, genetically and cybernetically modified human members of the merchant fleets. Many of them were so badly deformed, mutated, or genetically altered that they subsisted only with the aid of life support vats. It was their duty to carry out the monumental calculations required to coordinate shipping traffic across the Imperium. The civil fleets comprise all of the privately owned civilian void ships of the Imperium of Man, granted the right to operate along commercial or passenger transit routes defined by the Imperial authorities. The civil fleets are considered a part of the overall Imperial Fleet by the Adeptus Terra. Although the vast majority of the faster-than-light capable voidcraft of the Imperium are actually part of the merchant fleets, there remain several thousand other civilian void ships in the Imperium that are owned and registered by private individuals, small-time traders, highborn families, corporations, or other commercial cartels. All such privately owned, interstellar-capable void ships must operate only along warp routes, licensed and approved by the Imperial Fleet authorities, usually bureaucrats of the Adeptus Administratum who are responsible for regulating all shipping and transport within a given segmentum of the Imperium. Each chapter of the Adeptus Astartes maintains its own separate chapter fleet of military vessels and transports, which by the dictates of the Codex Astartes and the limitations placed upon the Astartes by the High Lords of Terra during the Reformation of the Imperium after the Horus Heresy in the time of rebirth, is supposed to be focused on intra-system transports and planetary assault. By tradition, only the Space Marines' smaller void craft are purposely designed to serve as gunships that are optimized for naval warfare and fleet actions. There are some chapters that have always railed against these restrictions, especially those that spend all of their time on crusade or who possess no homeworld or fortress monastery save for their fleet. These chapters usually ignore these ancient restrictions and, as a result, often come into political conflict with the Imperial Navy, which fears seeing its monopoly on ship-to-ship combat eroded by the far more capable fleets of the Adeptus Astartes. Rather than making use of very tightly defined classes of starships like the Imperial Navy, most chapters define their voidcraft by a far broader classification system that is defined by utility, with some of the few exceptions like the Imperial Fist's phalanx being themselves ancient relics of the Great Crusade, or unique human-built warships left over from the Dark Age of technology, or captured as prizes from other species and converted to the chapter's use. The battle barge is the largest and most powerful type of Space Marine starship ever constructed by the Imperium of Man, and few but the most potent chapters possess more than 2 or 3 of these extraordinarily powerful warships. Battle barges are equivalent in size and firepower to Imperial Navy battleships, and were designed first and foremost for survivability under the heaviest forms of enemy fire. A necessary trait when spearheading a planetary invasion, the Astartes' most common form of military operation requiring such a vessel. Battle barge designs back up this incredible durability with massive, if usually short-range firepower to aid the Astartes in their assault operations, along with a substantial number of launch bays for Thunderhawks, other attack craft and drop pods. Because of the incredible durability of their armor and void shielding, as well as their massive arsenals of the Imperium's most powerful weapons, few known starships, save for full-scale battleships, can stand up to a battle barge in close-action void combat. Thanks to the Space Marines aboard one, a battle barge is an even more terrifying opponent during a ship-to-ship boarding operation. In addition to the battle barge, the strike cruiser is the most common type of heavy warship in Space Marine chapter fleets. Strike cruisers are high-speed, rapid response cruisers intended for use in planetary assault and pacification operations. Strike cruisers are able to carry a company-sized strike force of astartes to a combat zone and deploy them with preternatural rapidity. The last common type of starship found in Space Marine fleets are rapid strike vessels. These warships are small, warp-capable escorts that include attack craft, frigates, and destroyers, which serve as both line-of-battle escorts for capital ships and system patrol vessels, as well as infiltration ships that can be used to deploy small groups of elite astartes behind enemy lines for reconnaissance in force or hit-and-run raiding missions. In addition to these more common types of Space Marine warships, fleet-based chapters often make use of a number of other support vessels, such as scout surveyors, Adeptus Mechanicus forged ships, and the massive mobile fortress monasteries known as Chapter Bark, often created from converted mass conveyors normally used by Imperial merchants for the mass hauling of cargo between star systems. Chapter Bark allow a fleet-based chapter to avoid risking their precious stores of gene seed and other irreplaceable artifacts and relics on the front line of battle or crusade. Fleet-based chapters also make use of vessels called Vanguard cruisers that are refitted strike cruisers intended to undertake long-range, long-duration operations independent of support from the rest of the chapter, often serving as reconnaissance or exploratory vessels for the chapter fleet or as heavy escorts. Vanguard cruisers are less capable of undertaking planetary assaults like normal strike cruisers because their weapons profile has been optimized for ship-to-ship combat, planetary exploration, reconnaissance, and boarding operations. The arbitrators of the Adeptus RBTs maintain a small private fleet of FTL-capable patrol craft and counterinsurgency vessels, most notable of which is the Punisher-class strike cruiser. The Arbites fleet also operates logistical vessels, transports, and other support craft. In conjunction with the Inquisition and the Sisters of Silence, the Adeptus Astra Telepathica maintains the independent and secretive League of Black Ships, whose purpose is to collect the tithe of psychers from every world of the Imperium. These cargoes of human misery are then delivered to Terra to be sacrificed to the Emperor's need to maintain the Astronomicon or to be trained as sanctioned psychers if they prove to have a strong enough will. The Void Fleet of the Adeptus Mechanicus is officially known as the Basilicon Astra. The Adeptus Mechanicus maintains this fleet independent of the larger Imperial Navy, while also building and maintaining all of the military and civilian void ships of the wider Imperium at its forge worlds and other orbital shipyards across the galaxy. The fleets of the Adeptus Mechanicus are composed of types of vessel found in other Imperial fleets, as well as more unique vessels, such as the near-legendary Arch Mechanicus. A Mechanicus fleet is usually commanded by a tech priest with the rank of Archmagos Explorator if it has been assigned explorator duties or an Archmagos Veneratus for other missions. The Imperium's powerful state church, the Adeptus Ministorum or Ecclesiarchy, operates its own exclusive armed void ships, such as the missionary vessels used to spread the Imperial Creed by Imperial missionaries of the Missionaris Galaxia. In addition, the Orders Militant of the Adepta Sororitas, which serves as the armed forces of the Ecclesiarchy, maintains its own warships, such as a small fleet of Dauntless-class light cruisers, so that the Sisters of Battle can make their way around the galaxy as they are needed. The dynasties of the rogue traders usually maintain their own voidcraft, or even fleets of voidcraft. Rogue traders' vessels come in a multitude of classes and sizes, and can even include refit Xenos vessels. Most rogue trader vessels are rarely larger than cruisers in size, however. The Inquisition has the legal authority to requisition any void ship of the Imperial Navy or any other Imperial organization on demand. However, they also maintain small fleets of their own, including inquisitorial black ships, their own grade of strike cruisers known as inquisitorial cruisers, and the Grey Knight strike cruisers of the Ordo Malleus's Chamber Militant. The Imperial Fleet's vastness often obscures the myriad personal stories woven into its fabric. Take, for instance, the tale of Adria Venn, a young scribe from a backwater agri-world who found herself aboard the civilian transport Stellar Wanderer. Her journey began as a simple relocation to a new post, but quickly transformed into an unexpected adventure. Departing from her home system, Adria marveled at the sheer scale of the vessel. Unlike the utilitarian designs of military craft, civilian ships often displayed a blend of practicality and surprising luxury. The Stellar Wanderer boasted grand observation decks, allowing passengers to gaze upon the cosmic tapestry as they traversed the warp. During her voyage, Adria encountered a diverse cross-section of Imperial society. Merchants haggled over trade routes, pilgrims whispered prayers to the Emperor, and off-duty administrative officials discussed sector politics. This microcosm of humanity provided a stark contrast to her sheltered upbringing. Unexpected excitement struck when the ship's Geller field fluctuated mid-journey. Panic rippled through the passengers as the crew worked feverishly to stabilize their defenses against the horrors of the warp. Adria found herself assisting an elderly tech priest in reciting protective binaries, a tense hour that forged unlikely friendships. The Stellar Wanderer made several stops en route to its final destination. At each port, Adria witnessed the intricate dance of loading and unloading, marveling at the efficiency of stevedore servitors and the watchful eyes of customs officials. She learned of the complex web of regulations governing interstellar commerce, each planet adding its own bureaucratic wrinkle to the process. One particularly memorable layover occurred at Port Exile, a sprawling void station teeming with activity. Here, Adria observed the seamless integration of civilian and military operations. Navy vessels docked alongside merchant ships, while arbitrators kept a vigilant watch for smugglers and other ne'er-do-wells. As her journey neared its end, Adria reflected on the sheer scale of the Imperium. The Imperial Fleet, in all its divisions, served as the lifeblood of humanity's galactic dominion. Every vessel, from the mightiest battleship to the humblest cargo hauler, played a vital role in maintaining the Emperor's realm. Disembarking at her destination, Adria carried with her a newfound appreciation for the intricate machinery of Imperial logistics. Her experience aboard the Stellar Wanderer had transformed her understanding of the galaxy, preparing her for the challenges ahead in her new posting. Beyond individual stories, the Imperial Fleet's civilian branch plays a crucial role in maintaining the cohesion of the Imperium. Massive colony ships undertake multi-generational voyages to settle distant worlds, their passengers living entire lifetimes in transit. These vessels are veritable cities in space, complete with hydroponic farms, educational facilities, and rudimentary manufacturing capabilities. The merchant fleets, while primarily focused on commerce, often serve as the first line of defense in remote systems. Many trading vessels sport hidden weapon emplacements and reinforced hulls, allowing them to fend off pirates or Xenos raiders long enough for Imperial Navy reinforcements to arrive. Specialized medical ships ply the space lanes, bringing vital supplies and expertise to worlds suffering from plagues or other health crises. These vessels are staffed by dedicated teams from the Adeptus Medicae, working tirelessly to combat the myriad ailments that threaten humanity across the stars. The Imperial Fleet's civil division also includes a network of mobile repair stations. These ungainly but essential craft can deploy to damaged or disabled vessels, effecting repairs in the depths of space. Their crews of tech priests and servitors are renowned for their ability to jury-rig solutions to even the most catastrophic of mechanical failures. The Immaterium's capricious nature often leads to inexplicable phenomena during warp travel. One such incident occurred aboard the frigate Emperor's Whisper during a routine transit. Midway through their journey, the entire crew reported simultaneous visions of a golden figure walking the ship's corridors. Upon investigation, no physical evidence of the entity was found, yet every soul on board swore to its presence. Temporal anomalies plague even the most carefully plotted warp routes. The light cruiser Kronos Unbound emerged from the Immaterium to find that while only weeks had passed for its crew, decades had elapsed in real space. This displacement led to a complex legal battle over the ship's ownership, as the original commissioning rogue trader had long since passed away. Navigators speak in hushed tones of the whispers between stars, a phenomenon where warp-sensitive individuals claim to hear distant voices during transit. These murmurs are said to contain fragments of prophecy, long-lost knowledge, or maddening truths. Many a navigator has been driven to isolation or insanity after prolonged exposure to these ethereal messages. Occasionally, ships report encounters with spectral fleets during warp travel. These phantom armadas appear as translucent echoes of mighty battleships, often engaged in silent, eternal combat. Theories abound as to their nature, from psychic imprints of ancient battles to glimpses of alternate timelines where the Horus Heresy had a different outcome. The Corridor of Echoes stands as one of the most perplexing warp anomalies known to the Imperium. Ships traversing this particular route often emerge with their Vox systems filled with garbled transmissions spanning millennia. Astropaths have spent lifetimes attempting to decipher these messages, believing they may hold the key to understanding the warp's true nature. The Imperial Navy's recruitment methods vary wildly from world to world. On some planets, service is seen as a noble calling, with families proudly sending generations of children to the stars. Conversely, hive worlds often use naval service as an alternative to penal sentences, offering criminals a chance at redemption through duty. Feudal worlds present unique challenges for recruiters. Here, naval officers must navigate complex social hierarchies and local traditions. It's not uncommon for a recruiter to engage in ritual combat or complete a quest to earn the right to speak with potential candidates. These practices ensure that only the most determined individuals join the fleet's ranks. Schola Progenium graduates form the backbone of the officer corps. These orphans, raised from childhood to serve the Imperium, bring a level of indoctrination and loyalty unmatched by other recruits. However, their sheltered upbringing can sometimes lead to friction with crew members from more diverse backgrounds. The Adeptus Mechanicus maintains a separate recruitment pipeline for fleet personnel. Potential candidates undergo rigorous testing of both technical aptitude and faith in the Omnissiah. Those who excel may find themselves assigned to the exclusive Basilicon Astra, where they'll interface directly with the machine spirits of mighty void ships. In times of dire need, press gangs still operate in some sectors. These squads of hardened veterans sweep through underhive areas and frontier settlements, forcibly conscripting able-bodied individuals into service. While controversial, the practice is tolerated as a necessary evil to maintain fleet numbers in the face of constant attrition. The ritual of crossing the void marks a sailor's first transition through a warp jump. Neophytes are blindfolded and led through a gauntlet of good-natured hazing by veteran crew members. The ceremony culminates in the recitation of an oath to the Emperor and the consumption of a thimble of sacred engine oil, a tradition said to appease the ship's machine spirit. Many vessels maintain a Wall of the Lost, where names and small mementos of fallen crew members are enshrined. During times of crisis, it's common to see sailors touching these memorials for luck or whispering quick prayers to their departed comrades. Some captains believe that these walls help anchor a ship's spirit in real space during turbulent warp transits. The Blessing of the Guns is a solemn ceremony performed before major engagements. Gun crews gather around their weapons, anointing them with sacred unguents and reciting litanies of accuracy. A ship's chaplain leads the proceedings, calling upon the Emperor to guide their shots true. Many gunners swear that weapons blessed in this manner fire with unusual precision. Fleet personnel often engage in the creation and exchange of void tokens. These small trinkets, usually crafted from scrap metal or spare parts, are believed to carry fragments of a ship's luck. Exchanging tokens with crew members from other vessels is thought to forge a spiritual link between ships, offering protection during times of battle. The tradition of Ghost Watch persists on many Imperial vessels. During this shift, skeleton crews maintain vigil over empty corridors and rarely used compartments. This practice stems from the belief that unattended areas of a ship are more susceptible to warp incursions. Ghost Watch duty is often assigned as a form of punishment or initiation for new crew members. The infamous Battle of Silent Voices saw an Imperial Navy patrol stumble upon a Necron tomb fleet awakening from stasis. The ensuing conflict was marked by an eerie absence of sound as Necron energy weapons silently tore through Imperial hulls. Only a handful of ships escaped to warn the Imperium of the sector's newfound threat. Eldar Corsairs present a unique challenge to Imperial fleets. Their hit-and-run tactics and advanced holo fields make traditional engagement nearly impossible. The cruiser Righteous Fury gained renown for successfully ambushing a Corsair fleet by hiding power down in a dense asteroid field for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Encounters with Tyrannid hive fleets have led to radical advancements in Imperial void warfare doctrine. The development of Nova cannons and improved torpedo designs can be directly attributed to the desperate need to counter the overwhelming biological weapons of the Great Devourer. Many a heroic last stand has been made against these implacable foes. Orc freebooters remain a constant thorn in the side of Imperial shipping lanes. These spacefaring greenskins cobble together massive fleets from stolen vessels and scavenged hulks. The sheer unpredictability of Orc tactics often confounds even veteran Imperial commanders, leading to chaotic engagements where traditional naval doctrine falls apart. The Tau Empire's expansion has brought their advanced fleet technology into conflict with Imperial forces. Their powerful energy weapons and sophisticated targeting systems have forced the Adeptus Mechanicus to accelerate research into improved void shields and electronic countermeasures. Captured Tau vessels are highly prized by the Omnissiah's followers, who seek to unravel the secrets of their tech heresy. Legendary naval engagements often reshape the balance of power across entire sectors. The Battle of Fall stands as a testament to the tactical brilliance of fleet commanders. During this conflict, a severely outnumbered Imperial force managed to outmaneuver and decimate a traitor fleet through cunning use of asteroid fields and precisely timed Nova cannon bombardments. Recruitment drives on frontier worlds take on a festive atmosphere, with naval officers staging elaborate demonstrations to entice potential recruits. Holograms of famous battles fill the skies, while simulated boarding actions allow civilians to test their mettle. These events serve a dual purpose, bolstering Imperial presence in far-flung regions while securing a steady stream of fresh personnel. Superstition runs deep among voidfarers. Many crews refuse to embark on warp jumps without first appeasing the Lady of the Void, a mythical figure said to safeguard travelers. Offerings of precious metals or rare artifacts are jettisoned into space, accompanied by ancient hymns. Captains who neglect this ritual often face mutinous grumblings from their more traditional crew members. The rogue trader vessel, Fortune's Folly, stumbled upon a derelict Xenos ship of unknown origin. Its hull bore markings never before catalogued by Imperial scholars. The decision to send a boarding party led to disaster as dormant defense systems awakened, unleashing a techno-organic virus that threatened to overwhelm both ships. Only the quick thinking of the trader's explorator team saved them from a gruesome fate. Mechanicus explorator fleets pushed the boundaries of known space, seeking lost human colonies and forgotten technology. The Arch Mechanicus Omnissiah's Blessing returned from a century-long expedition with holds full of Dark Age relics. The impact of these discoveries sent shockwaves through the Adeptus Mechanicus, sparking fierce debates over the interpretation of newly uncovered STC fragments. Naval officer training emphasizes the importance of maintaining a stoic demeanor in the face of adversity. Admiral Cordelia Vax became a legend for her unflappable nature during the siege of Hydra Secundus. As Tyrannid bioships swarmed her fleet, she calmly ordered a series of counterattacks while sipping recaf, her unwavering confidence inspiring the crews to victory against overwhelming odds. Mutinies, while rare, pose a significant threat to Imperial naval operations. The most infamous case involved the heavy cruiser Emperor's Wrath, where a charismatic senior officer led half the crew in an attempted takeover. The ensuing 3-day battle throughout the ship's decks left the vessel severely damaged and adrift in space for months before a recovery team could restore order. Experimental ship designs occasionally emerged from obscure Adeptus Mechanicus forges. The Shadowblade class of stealth frigates utilized esoteric technologies to bend light around their hulls, rendering them nearly invisible to standard auger arrays. While only a handful were ever constructed, their impact on naval warfare doctrine was substantial, leading to widespread upgrades in detection systems. Navigator houses jealously guard the secrets of efficient warp travel. The Novator twins of House Benetech gained fame for their ability to chart courses through areas of the Imperium previously thought impassable. Their techniques, passed down through generations, have shaved years off transit times between distant sectors. Diplomatic missions often fall to specialized Navy vessels. The cruiser Pax Imperium boasts luxurious quarters and meeting halls designed to impress planetary governors and sector lords. Its mission to negotiate peace between warring noble houses on Tharsis IV nearly ended in disaster when assassins infiltrated the ship, leading to a tense shipboard manhunt. Inquisitorial operations frequently requisition naval assets for covert missions. The black ship Silent Judge vanished for decades, only to reappear in a different sector with no explanation for its absence. Rumors persist of warp-based time dilation or classified xenotech recovery operations, but the Inquisition remains characteristically tight-lipped about the incident. Space hulks emerge from the warp without warning, presenting both danger and opportunity. The discovery of the hulk Eternity's Graveyard sparked a fierce competition between several Space Marine chapters, each vying for the right to cleanse it of Xenos taint and claim its secrets. The resulting battle saw unlikely alliances form as astartes fought side by side against awakening Necron Tomb Guardians. Fleet logistics present a constant challenge in a galaxy-spanning empire. The development of specialized mass conveyors revolutionized the transport of goods and personnel between sectors. These massive vessels, often kilometers in length, serve as mobile supply depots and troop transports, allowing for rapid reinforcement of distant war zones. Savvy captains cultivate relationships with reliable informants across multiple systems. These networks of spies and merchants provide invaluable intelligence on everything from pirate activity to Xenos fleet movements. The most prized informants can command exorbitant fees or political favors in exchange for their services. Void combat drills form a crucial part of a ship's routine. The cruiser Immortal Vengeance took this to an extreme, with its commander initiating surprise simulated attacks at all hours. While initially resented, this rigorous training paid off when the ship single-handedly held off an Orc freebooter raid, its gun crews operating with machine-like efficiency. Ship's choirs play a vital role in maintaining morale during long voyages. These groups of musically inclined crew members perform everything from stirring battle hymns to haunting laments for the fallen. The choir of the battleship Eternal Crusader gained such renown that recordings of their performances became prized possessions among fleet personnel. Specialized repair dock stations orbit major fleet bases, their extending gantries resembling metallic tentacles. Teams of tech priests swarm over damaged vessels, replacing armor plates and performing essential rites of maintenance. These facilities operate continuously, ensuring that the Imperial Navy maintains peak combat readiness. Fleet-based Space Marine chapters present unique challenges for naval cooperation. The nomadic nature of these astartes requires careful coordination to avoid conflicts over resources and patrol routes. Joint exercises between chapter fleets and Navy battle groups have led to the development of innovative void warfare tactics, blending the strengths of both organizations. The tradition of chrono-etching has gained popularity among long-serving fleet personnel. Veterans have their service records laser-inscribed into their bones, creating a permanent record of their deeds. These etchings are said to be readable by certain Mechanicus scanning devices, ensuring that a sailor's accomplishments will outlive their mortal form. Void-born children, raised entirely aboard starships, develop unique physiological and psychological traits. Their bones are often more brittle due to low-gravity environments, but their spatial awareness and ability to navigate complex ship layouts are unparalleled. Many become prized as ratings and junior officers, their innate understanding of shipboard life giving them an edge over their planet-born peers. The Schola Navalis on Hydrafer stands as the premier academy for aspiring naval officers. Its curriculum blends rigorous academic study with practical void warfare simulations. Cadets spend months aboard training vessels, learning every aspect of ship operations. The school's final exam, a grueling week-long simulated campaign, has broken many promising careers before they could begin. Shipboard gardens serve both practical and spiritual purposes. These carefully maintained spaces provide fresh produce and oxygen reclamation, but also offer crews a vital connection to nature amidst the sterile confines of a void ship. On extended deployments, tending to these gardens becomes a cherished duty, with competitions for the most bountiful harvests or exotic specimens. The binding ritual for newly appointed ship captains is a closely guarded ceremony. It's said that a fragment of the captain's soul is mystically entwined with their vessel's machine spirit, creating a symbiotic bond. This connection allows for intuitive control and heightened awareness of the ship's status, but comes at a cost. Many captains report feeling physical pain when their vessel is damaged. Geller field technicians occupy a unique niche within ship hierarchies. Their ability to maintain the psychic barriers protecting a vessel during warp transit makes them indispensable, yet the esoteric nature of their work often leads to isolation. Many develop eccentric habits, convinced that certain rituals or talismans are crucial to their field stability. The naval blockade of Gaust Prime demonstrated the patience and resolve of Imperial fleets. For 3 years, a cordon of ships maintained a stranglehold on the rebellious planet, intercepting any attempts to break the siege. The blockade's success was largely due to innovative shift rotations and supply chains, allowing ships to remain on station for unprecedented durations. Holo shrines dedicated to the Emperor can be found throughout Imperial vessels. These projectors display rotating images of Imperial saints and heroes, serving as focal points for crew devotions. In times of crisis, it's not uncommon to see off-duty personnel gathered around these shrines, their fervent prayers a counterpoint to klaxons and battle alerts. The recovery of the Blade of Antiquity, a pre-heresy era destroyer, caused a stir among Mechanicus archaeotechnologists. Its remarkably well-preserved systems offered insights into long-lost manufacturing techniques. Reverse engineering efforts spawned a new generation of more efficient plasma drives, gradually disseminating throughout the fleet. Void ship cemeteries orbit certain war-torn worlds, serving as grim reminders of past conflicts. Salvage crews pick through these celestial graveyards, recovering valuable materials and occasionally stumbling upon intact archaeotech. The risk of still active minefields or dormant Xenos infestations ensures that only the most daring or desperate take on such salvage contracts. The astropathic choir of the battleship Divine Retribution achieved legendary status for their role in the Crusade of Fire. Their coordinated sending of psychic messages across vast distances allowed for unprecedented coordination between widespread Imperial forces. The strain of their efforts left many blind or catatonic, their sacrifice honored in fleet ballads for generations. Repentant pirates sometimes seek redemption through Imperial naval service. The Penitent's Blade Squadron, comprised entirely of former Void Marauders, earned renown for its unorthodox tactics and intimate knowledge of pirate havens. Their loyalty constantly questioned, these reformed corsairs fight with unmatched ferocity to prove their worth to the Emperor. Specialized scan auger arrays, developed to detect Tyranid vanguard organisms, have found broader applications in fleet operations. These hypersensitive devices can detect minute gravitational disturbances, allowing for early warning of incoming ships or spatial anomalies. Their introduction has revolutionized void warfare, emphasizing the importance of stealth and counter-detection measures. The tradition of hull tapping persists among superstitious crew members. Before major engagements, sailors rap their knuckles against bulkheads in specific rhythms, believing this awakens the ship's spirit and primes it for battle. Officers often turn a blind eye to this practice, recognizing its value in calming pre-combat nerves. Void sea shanties, sung during long shifts in engine rooms or gun decks, preserve oral histories of famous battles and heroic deeds. These rhythmic work songs boost morale and foster a sense of connection to naval tradition. Variations of popular shanties can be heard across the Imperium, their lyrics adapting to local dialects and recent events. The naval engagement over Serosa III saw the first recorded use of warp ghost torpedoes. These experimental weapons phase in and out of real space, allowing them to bypass void shields entirely. While devastatingly effective, their unpredictable nature and the unsettling reports of screaming heard over Vox channels during their use have limited widespread adoption, as the last echoes of a void shanty fade from the gun deck of the Imperial cruiser Unbreakable Faith. We're reminded of the vast tapestry of traditions, innovations, and sacrifices that define the Imperial Navy. From the lowest deck scrubber to the most decorated Lord Admiral, each soul plays a part in maintaining humanity's dominion over the stars. The Navy stands as a bulwark against the darkness, its ships beacons of the Emperor's light in the cold void of space. Though challenges may arise from within and without, the fleets of the Imperium press ever onward, guided by duty, faith, and the unshakable belief in mankind's manifest destiny among the stars. In the grim darkness of the far future, the Imperial Navy sails on, its course set for eternity.